Okay, oh my gosh, getting on here live. What a trip. Okay, if you are here live, say hello, let me know. If you are watching the replay, right? Hashtag replay. Okay, just need to take a breath. I forget sometimes the intricacies of technology, and that shit stresses me out. Not even gonna lie. So I'm gonna start here by taking a breath and giving it a minute because we're starting a bit late. Today we are talking all things subconscious. My intention with this training is that you walk away, step away with clarity and understanding after reading hundreds of books, studying this. It can get so daunting, so overwhelming, and honestly, I used to forget so much. So I was like, how can I simplify this? How can we make this a little more fun so that it's not just so serious all the time? And how can, in a very short and concise amount of time, create a breakthrough realization that's going to generate a momentum for you so that you know how to upgrade your subconscious identity. And we're going to break down what that even means. Like, what is a subconscious identity? Why is it important to pay attention to it? And how does it matter with your goals? So I see there is someone here live. Say hello. Don't be shy. So let's just start by taking a breath. Wherever you are, I mean, if you're driving or something, just don't close your eyes. But if you can, close your eyes and take a nice, deep, letting go breath. Settling into your mind and body. Take another beautiful breath in. Hold it at the top and exhale. And as you're taking these breaths in, and I invite you to take another third breath, try to let it go all the way into your lower belly. So breathe in with me. Hold it right there. And lower your shoulders. And as your eyes are closed and we're breathing here together, let's set the intention to open up our minds so that we can see clearly, hear clearly, and expand our perspective to embrace the facets of life that excite us, to invite our manifestations into our physical reality, and to be open to seeing things differently. In fact, we can ask God, angels, universe, help me see things differently. And I invite you to just tap gently on your chest with your fingers, to settle into this space, to come into this space, and to be open to what comes through for you. Breathe in. Breathe out. It says my internet connection is unstable. Welcome to the Caribbean life. This is as stable as it's going to get for us today. Okay. So wherever you are, you're here watching the replay, drop into the chat where you're tuning in from, why you chose to come here out of all the places. And even if you're watching the replay, I'll invite you to participate, because when you do that participation, and if you're too shy to write into the chat, write it down on a piece of paper. When you set an intention, everything amplifies. Your focus amplifies. You will hear things differently. You will see things differently. And you will experience this entire training on a different level. Video is flowing smoothly. Thank you. Oh, Oh, yay, Catherine, you're here. Amazing. Okay, beautiful. So I want us to start from the beginning, and I want to break down what the subconscious mind is. I want to break down the 5 phases that I want you to know about it, knowing that, by the way, I want to just put it out there. This is not going to be a science-y kind of training. If you want the science, this isn't going to be the place. I mean, after studying it for years, like being a Joe Dispenza junkie, the hypnotherapy, all these trainings, I know what I'm talking about, but I also want to just make it super simple. So simple that it's like, one of my friends says, soul simple. So for you to remember. So we're going to talk about the 5 phases that your subconscious mind is shaped, identified, and built. And then we're going to go into how to change it, how to upgrade it, how to move through it. And that's going to be in 4 steps. So the first part is, what is the subconscious mind? We hear about it, we talk about it. You may have even read books on it, and you're still not sure what it is. And by the way, every time I say, you may not know this, you may not know that, I refer to myself at a point in time. So this is really a judgment-free zone. I've read so many books on the subconscious until I actually dove into hypnotherapy. It was a bit of a mystery of what this actually is. So in a very concise way, your subconscious mind, if you want to compare it to almost a computer, it's been programmed throughout your life to filter your reality so that you observe what you need to observe, you take in what you need to take in, and you have a stance on the world of who you are, who you believe yourself to be. So you know how to present yourself, you know how to react to things. And so it's basically that software that your computer knows, okay, well, this is who we are. This is how we operate in the world. But just like any piece of technology, it has its time. It needs to be upgraded. It needs to be rewired. It needs maintenance. And the best way for you to understand what is in your subconscious mind is to really take into perspective the 5 phases. Take a moment to consider what your situation was, what your circumstances were in these 5 phases. And then we're going to look at your reality currently to say, okay, yeah, maybe this is in my subconscious, because a lot of times what's in your subconscious, you're oblivious to. Sometimes you are, but a lot of times we're oblivious to it because we live in our own mind every single day. We wake up with ourselves. You wake up to your own thoughts every single day, and you think you understand until you realize at some point, wow, maybe I was wrong. Maybe there's a different perspective. There are at any given moment over 2 billion bits of information coming at you through your senses. You only digest about 126 because it's impossible for you to digest everything. So if I tell you right now, so how does the left side of your upper lip feel? You're not thinking about it. How does your bum feel on that chair? You're not thinking about it until I say it. So we think we see things, we think we feel everything, but we only think and feel and respond to how we've been conditioned, how we've nurtured even our own subconscious. So let's just get into the first phase. The first phase is almost before your brain is developed. It is before your brain is developed, is when your heart starts to come into your mother's womb. Your nervous system already starts to get conditioned. So I want you to think to yourself, when I was in my mother's belly, what was her experience of life? What were some of the things she may have been going through? Was she in a happy marriage? Was she in a safe country? Maybe she was in a happy marriage and a safe country, but she had this deep fear of birds, and the birds are always flying around the house, so she's fearing it. And I'm going to make some weird analogies because I want you to understand that your subconscious mind is not logical. It is very emotional. It works with image association. So the more we can make these images and create these crazy-ish examples, the easier it will be for you to remember. So everything could have been perfect, but if she is stressed out, if her environment is stressing her out, then already your nervous system is going to be wired just a little bit more. The world is a dangerous and scary place potentially, right? I think of sometimes myself, my mom, when I was in her belly, there was a war literally going on. And so the world was very much a dangerous and scary place. It's a no-brainer that I'm more anxious than the normal or the average. I don't like the word normal. The average human being. I'm a lot more anxious, right? So as we're going through these phases, I want you to just take a note of what it was. And I promise you it's important and not. And you're going to see when we go into how the subconscious mind, how we can upgrade it, why this is important for you to consciously know, but not to hang on to super tightly. Okay. So the second phase, where your subconscious identity, so your perspective of how the world is and how you relate to the world is constructed, is between the age of 0 and 7. And there is so much that happens in that phase. So I want you to think of this phase as the sponge. You are a sponge. So you are absorbing. You're absorbing everything from your external reality. Your subconscious mind has no real identity. Everything that happens, you are very much in your ego. It's all about you. So if your parents are having an argument about money and you happen to be around it, you're going to wonder why they're having that argument, and you're going to make associations about yourself, about your relationship with money. If your parents are not really feeling confident about themselves, in the sense of deeper than just confidence, they don't feel worthy as humans. They put a lot of their worth in their external reality. So they could even be super rich, but they just don't feel worthy as a human. Children understand vibrations more than words. They could say the nicest things to you, but if they don't feel worthy, by the time you are 3 years old, this is science now that we've proven it, you won't believe that you're worthy. Even if your parent says you're the best kid on the planet, you're so worthy, there will be an unconscious, subconscious click that says, I'm actually not worthy as a human being, so I have to constantly prove yourself. Actually, drop it into the chat if you feel that. If you feel it, that I have to prove myself to feel worthy, you know there's a difference between your worth in the market, your worth as a working woman or working man, and there's the worth of knowing I'm worthy simply for being. It doesn't even matter what I do. My contribution to humanity is my being, simply being, I'm worthy. By the time you're 5, now you've collected enough data that about 50% of your emotional intelligence is built. Crystal says, yes, always feeling like I need to prove myself. You are not alone. And I'll invite everyone here to, first of all, do not blame your parents. This is not the let's blame our parents blame game, okay? Think of the evolution and growth of the human psychology. We are evolving as humans. We are constantly expanding our psychology. And so there was for a very long time, women were not valued in society as they should be. And it's still progress. If the man of the house at the time wasn't making the money and all that pressure is put on men have to be the income earner, they have to be the provider. If they're not a provider, who are they? Of course they're going to lack worth. And that will vibrationally go into the child, right? Your parents are also learning as they go along. So maybe they had some immaturities even while they gave birth to you. So all of this gets built. By the time you're 6 or 7, there is a critical factor that comes in and stops letting you be a sponge. So if you think of the ocean, I'm here in this beautiful community. I wish I could just turn my camera. You guys could see the ocean instead of this background. I didn't think this through. There's so much seaweed, okay? And so they constructed this kind of it's not a wall, but it's a net to stop the seaweed from coming into the community, because the ocean, like the part that we have, is just so small. So if there's a lot of seaweed, it's stinky. So think of your critical factor being like that net. It is just not gonna let things in that it doesn't think it belongs. So here we've decided as a community, the seaweed doesn't belong on the beach. So we're gonna stop it from coming in. But what if at some point we're like, oh my gosh, this seaweed is full of nutrients. I wanna let it in. We're gonna have to figure out how to poke a hole in that net, right? Because it's not gonna come in just because we decided. It's not gonna come in because there's a critical factor. The critical factor, it's tightly knit, right? It's like, hey, just making sure, okay. Sorry, let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I can't believe I did that. Okay, the critical factor is the same thing. It's like, okay, well, we're not letting that in because it doesn't match what we had decided it's gonna come in. And so I want you to think of your critical factor as that. It is meant to serve you. However, there are times that you're going to need to know, how am I going to bypass it? If you are a sponge your whole life, it's going to be very hard for you to have any kind of substance, right? But then when you want to change it, we have to figure out, let's engineer how we're going to do this. What's the method? How are we going to feel safe? If I just go and I tear, like, let's say I go nuts and I'm like, okay, I'm going with my knife. I'm going to just tear a huge hole in this and let everything in. It doesn't feel safe because what if, I'm going to make a huge exaggeration. What if a shark comes in and eats me? What if all of this other gunk comes in, right? It doesn't feel safe. So I want you to think of your critical factor there to protect you, but it will also stop you from letting in things that you may consciously choose afterwards. Let me know if so far this makes sense to you. So please drop it into the chat if it's making sense or if there's something you want me to clarify. Even if you're watching the replay, let me know because I love to answer every single question I get. Phase 3. Now I'm going to really, again, those of you who know the science, I want you to stay open-minded. There's a reason why I'm streamlining and simplifying it. Okay, yes, it's making sense. Beautiful. From 7 to 25 years old, call this the shape-shifting moment. You have your identity and you're going to seek experiences to validate it. Your brain is still being developed, okay? But you're going to be more into finding ways to validate what's already been put there. Deciding basically what kind of human you're going to be. And some of your choices are going to be bold, but most of your choices at this point, they're already kind of decided for. So how many, let me know in the chat, how many of you went into a career path because that's kind of what your parents wanted you to do? Or you didn't really know what else to do, so you just went there and that's what you did? We make choices, we're bold, but we're shaping, and it's like this in-between phase of like, okay, how sturdy do we want this net to be? Do we want it to be straight? Do we want it to be diagonal? We're shape-shifting and we start exploring in a different way. We become young adults. We become a little more responsible for how we operate in this world. RIP to my career as a lawyer. Yes, I feel you. I feel you. I went into international development. I'm so passionate, but that's definitely my mom. It's 100% my mom coming through. And I love it, but it's not who I'm meant to be. Now, between 25 and 35, that shape shifting is getting more and more locked in. And there's a critical moment between the age of 27 and 31 where it's, in the spiritual community, and drop into the chat if you're aware of the Saturn return. They say that the planet of Saturn returns to the same orbit as when you were born. And whether you know about astrology or not, this literally happens to every human. It is almost eerie. I didn't know about Saturn return, but I freaking experienced it. You ask yourself, is that all there is? Is this what my life is going to be? I have so many clients coming in around this age. They're like, this can't be my life. This is all there's going to be. It's like, it's not really a midlife crisis. It's more like, am I sure I'm going down this path? It's an opening for you. But by then, a lot of times people are scared to really honor a shift. I know I sure as hell was. I just spent 10 years building up this career to become a consultant in international development, and all of a sudden it was like, I'm not really happy doing this. What else am I going to do? I'm in like 60K in debt for university and I'm not even happy here, but I do like it. I'm trying to like figure it out. OMG, so true. Yeah, it's scary. It's terrifying. You've spent your whole life validating that net, protecting your oasis, building a house on this oasis, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, not only do I think I want to let the seaweed into this oasis, but maybe I want to travel to a whole other island. It's terrifying. What if I drown in that sea? Do I even have a guarantee I'll get to another island, and on that island, it's going to be better? And no, there is no guarantee. There isn't. So how do you trust? And we're going to get into that. Now, phase 5, 35 and over. And this is a gross exaggeration again. But by the time you're 35, 95% of your thinking, feeling, acting, so your thoughts that lead to your feelings, and your feelings that lead to your actions, and all of this is going in a circle. So your actions are feeding your thoughts, your feelings are feeding your thoughts, and you're going in a loop. It's 95% predictable. And why, one of my friends, she actually made this remark. I'm 38 and we still don't have children. If it's in God's plan, we will have children. But she's like, Atena, aren't you worried? I see all my friends past the age of 35 and they just they're more rigid. They don't want to make compromises to their schedule. And I laugh because I'm like, of course, because 95% of who they have decided they're going to be is repeating. You will wake up every day. And this is where I love Dr. Joe Dispenza. You literally wake up, you have the same thoughts as yesterday. 95% of your thoughts are exactly the same thing as yesterday. And I urge you, if there's one thing you walk away, there's going to be a couple of things. There's one thing right now I want you to walk away with is, what did you think of for the first thing you thought of this morning? As you're brushing your teeth, you wake up, you go to pee, you brush your teeth, you drink your water, you have your coffee. It's the same routine, going and going and going. And then there's a little conscious thought, oh, but I want to do this. And it's like, okay, great. I'm 48 and I feel more lost and confused than ever. Thank you so much for sharing that. And we're going to get into how to build that clarity and feel not lost and less confusion. I changed the most after this age, okay? Because all of a sudden I was like, I want to change. So I don't believe that has to be anyone's reality. And in fact, the science has for a very long time proven otherwise. When it was the 80s, science said, oh, the brain is hardwired. You are who you are. And it became kind of like, and drop into the chat if you heard this, I'm too old, I'm never gonna change. This is who I am. Your parents probably said this to you when they did something you don't like. And they're like, Mom, Dad, this isn't cool. Like, I'm too old, I'm not gonna change. Where's that other example that I put? If you're in my newsletter, you got this one. Once a cheater, always a cheater. I wake up and I say, thank you for today. Oh, that is so beautiful. That is so beautiful. That is the kind of repetition you want to keep. So there's some repetition you want to keep and some things you want to let go. And we're going to get into it. So I want to get into the 4 steps to take for you to feel centered, clear, open to exploring your life. And I want you now we're going to do a micro meditation. I want you to just bear with me. If you can't close your eyes and do it, it's okay. Just listen to the words and feel it in your body. Don't think about what I'm saying. Feel it inside you, okay? Trust the feeling. Feelings are way more important than thoughts. If no one has ever said this to you, they are. And I'll tell you why right now. You have anywhere between 12,000 and 70,000 thoughts a day. 12,000 is on the spectrum of if you are a proactive meditator and you very much train your mind to be in stillness. Yogis. Think of yogis. Think of Eckhart Tolle. 70,000 thoughts is that you are hyper reactive and you just never really learned to shut the mind off. And there's more often than not a lot of negative thoughts, very invasive thoughts that come in. You're somewhere between there. You cannot possibly, even if you're a yogi, be conscious of every single, even 12,000 thoughts. No one can be conscious, but you can always put a tap on your pulse. How am I feeling right now? Literally, put it on your pulse. How am I feeling right now? Am I feeling contracted or expanded? Basically, all of your feelings are going to come down to those two things. Am I being in this room? Am I feeling contracted? And if you're feeling contracted and tired, it's okay. I want you to let you know that that's the sign that your subconscious is feeling challenged. Going into a tired mode, it is a form of protection. Do I feel expanded? This conversation is invigorating, it's enlightening me, or this friendship, it just makes me like super happy. So right now I'm going to ask you to just tap into your feelings. So if you can close your eyes, I invite you to close your eyes with me and take a little breath in. Hold it there and exhale. And as your eyes are closed, I want you to just step into your body right now. Feel your body wherever you are. Feel the space around your head, between your ears. Feel the space around your neck and in your neck. Dropping down into your shoulders, feel the space going around your shoulders, your arms, your torso, your back. And feel the space in between all of that inside your human body right now. I want you to bring now your conscious awareness to the space around your lower back, your womb space, lower belly, the space around it and within it. And I want you now to go down into your pelvic area. Again, the space around it, within it. And now bring your conscious awareness around your legs, noticing where your feet are, rooted to the ground, or your legs are crossed, and the space within and around. Now I want you to imagine yourself stepping outside of your body and just looking at yourself, standing there or sitting there. I invite you to see the human being that is you as pure energy, like a ball of light, knowing that you are actually, in fact, 99.9% empty space. And as you witness this ball of energy, knowing that it represents your physical human being, the human body, the which your soul is temporarily occupying, just show a lot of love for that human, the human that you are, that you be. And I want you now to imagine yourself, as you continue to witness your human, to float up into the roof of where you are. and go even beyond the roof. See your human where you are sitting or standing in the home, in the car, wherever you are. Just observe that human being. And just gently notice that there are different balls of energy around, whether it's in the same home as you. I want you to even zoom out and see your home or wherever you are from the sky. Just a little bit outside. So it's like if you're in your home, you're seeing the entire block, the trees, the cars, the homes. See the little balls of energy from every other human, animals, trees even. And now I want you to zoom out even more so that you see the whole country that you're in. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And notice that you can still somewhat feel and see your human. And I want you to zoom out even more, feeling yourself in space. Almost hearing the deafening silence of outer space and seeing the planet Earth that you are currently in, living in. See it rotating in this perfect, harmonious mess. And it's as if for a moment in time there's a stillness. And remembering now that your time here on this earth is temporary, in this human body, it is temporary. Feel the joy in that. And let yourself for a moment even question, what is the point of this life? This heaven on earth, for you to experience this life, I want you to just totally disconnect with the reality that you may be going through every day. And really for this moment, ask God, angels, universe, just for this moment to have this perspective of you as an energy ball on this earth, having this human experience. What would you wish for your human to experience? And I want you to feel that truth inside you. And now to almost have a free fall, diving back, coming back into the room that you're in, stepping back inside your body, and gently opening your eyes, and coming back into this room. Sometimes this feels really calming. Sometimes this exercise feels a little anxious, but every single time it allows you to take a distance from what you're currently experiencing and making a decision that you deserve whatever it is that you desire. So I want you to drop into the chat, how did that feel? Just doing that micro meditation. And be really honest. One of the best things you can do is be brutally honest. I'll tell you right now, for me, half of me got excited. The other half was like, ooh, I'm feeling a little like life is temporary. So I want to get into how to have that clarity, the direction, building a vision of the future. You are meant to enjoy your life. When we are getting too serious all the time, it's definitely a sign of trauma response, of having to have been serious. This is where when your childhood was so intense that you think very intensely, life is super serious, and half of you is super serious, the other half of you wants to just blow everything off. So I want in this moment to just reel it back in. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Even the challenges, the difficulties, the painful moments, they are meant to expand you, grow you, so you can experience a deeper love. So when it comes to upgrading your subconscious pattern, saying, okay, well, this is how my human was conditioned, I want you to make a decision right now, right here today. Today is such a powerful day for those of you who are here live. Again, if you believe in astrology, which I hope you do to some extent, today is a portal, 777. It's a huge manifestation day. It's a huge day to bring to your physical reality all the desires that you have, to really put that intention. If you had a decision, a goal that you wanted to attain in the next 6 months, there's 6 months left to this year, there's so much time. What is that goal? And there's no right or wrong answer. It could be a tangible goal or it could be an untangible goal. So a tangible goal would be, I want to hit a certain income level. Very tangible. I can measure it, I can calculate it. An intangible goal is I want to learn to love myself unconditionally. Which, by the way, that was one of my goals 7 years ago, 8 years ago now, and it completely changed my life on every frontier. So I want you to drop into the chat if there is something that you felt in that meditation. What would you want your human to experience before leaving this earth? If there's one thing, it could be big or small, drop into the chat. What do you want to experience? Maybe it is, I want to feel centered. I want to feel, what's the opposite of lost? I want to have direction. And as you drop into the chat or you write it down, I want you to write it down. This is the first step to your subconscious mind changing. It's consciously making a decision. As you make that decision consciously, you got to be super aware that there is going to be a lot of negotiation that may happen. So most people stumble on this very first part. They don't really make a decision. And I'll get into why we negotiate with ourselves when we go into the third step in particular. But very often it comes down to the battle you have with your own mediocrity in life. The inability to handle disappointment. Disappointment is a major magic killer. But I want you to just bear that that's going to happen no matter what. Like, you can have all the resources in the world, all the support in the world, that's going to happen no matter what. But if you were to make a decision today and just say, I am going to build a relationship with this goal, that is going to change your life. No matter, like, if there is one thing that you're going to take away from this entire training, I want it to be this. When you make a decision and you build a relationship with that decision. So when I made the decision to love myself unconditionally, the reason why I changed my life is because I learned, what does that mean? And even as I manifested my husband into my life, that this initial decision to learn to love myself unconditionally continued to be a driving force to deepening the love I experienced with him, to challenge myself when I don't feel worthy. Why? Even if I want to give him something better, and my relationship with him is going to be that driving force, that decision isn't, that initial decision, the knowing that I don't want to die or this human body to come through this earth and not experience that. I want to know what unconditional love is. So I want to feel confident and learn to accept myself. So beautiful. Yes, sister. Yes. So I want you to write it down. And I want you to know something. A lot of times, the beliefs that we have been installed as kids is going to either work for us and against us. I want to read to you something that I got from U Square, from Price Pritchett in his book. I got the audiobook if anyone ever wants to get it. It's like $15 on his website. It's amazing. Like, I literally clean the house and I listen to it. It just helps direct my mind. And there's something that really just came through in that audiobook. Your skepticism, which you presume is of rational thinking and an objective assessment of factual data about yourself, is rooted in mental junk. Your doubts are not a result of accurate thinking, but the result of habitual thinking. your mind is going to come in and negotiate with you, even with the intangible goals. Is it safe for you to accept yourself? Like, who are you to be confident? Are you sure? Are you allowed to be confident? You've never been confident. Why would you want to be confident now? We've survived this far without being confident. We don't want to ruffle feathers. Heaven forbid we ruffle some feathers. If I walk around confident and I walk around saying I love myself, that's going to make my best friend feel bad. Is that going to make that person feel bad? Is that person going to think I'm arrogant? It's going to come because maybe when you were growing up, that's what society embedded in you. I saw this TED Talk. It literally made me want to scream. And it had millions of views. We have a society that has too much self-esteem. What the F is that supposed to mean? I think it's actually quite the contrary, because people who have a healthy self-esteem have a healthy assessment of where they're at in life. There's a confusion in our world with confidence, acceptance, self-love. So as you make that decision, being very conscious that there's going to be a lot of doubt and skepticism, I want you to just for a moment press pause, because I'm going to teach you how to get out of that. The second thing you got to start doing, I want you to literally build the avatar of the human who has accomplished this goal. So I love that the share is one of the shares is the intangible. A human who accepts themselves. If I were to accept myself, what would my identity be? What is confidence? Maybe I want to research confidence. Confidence, from my perspective, by the way, and if you want to borrow this, is having the audacity to focus on the things that authentically matter to you. Self-acceptance is having that honest lens of, this is where I am at, I love me, and I trust me to grow. It's like one of the things that I love to equate this to, and it's maybe easier sometimes when we take a very simple goal. Simple, but not also. If you want to get into shape, you can't hate your body into a body that you love. Maybe you have, like I know for me anyways in my life, I had so much problems with overeating and body hate image and just hating my body, like literally hating on my body, being like, oh, I suck, I can't do this. And I thought once I lose the weight, that's it, I'm gonna feel so much better. And then you find out that actually so many women who are model-esque, like, what's her name? She's like Angelina Jolie, the new version of Angelina Jolie. Oh my gosh, sorry, a door just slammed. I forget her name, but she is, I guess, objectively gorgeous, A-list actress, on Sports Illustrated, swimsuit model, like everything that society portrays to us. And she literally said in an interview, I have never loved my body. Self-acceptance doesn't mean that you abandon your goals. It means that you love and accept who you are in the current moment, irrespective of where you're going. So when you are building this identity, I want you to, Megan Fox, yes, thank you. You're in my mind. Okay. So I want you to write down a list of who that person is. And here comes the trickiest part of all. Rebuilding your self-concept. You have thought about yourself. So this is step 3, rebuilding your self-concept. You have thought about yourself a certain way your whole life. Your subconscious mind, your subconscious identity, the one that tells you who, your navigation system of who you are in the world, has been built a certain way. The biggest mistake most people make is wanting a new reality while staying the same. It is literally, it would be the equivalent of saying, I want to fit into a size 6 jeans, but I'm going to put 0 effort in my nutrition and health habits. Can we all agree that that's just not going to happen? It's like saying, I want to grow a business. I don't know nothing about business, but I'm not going to learn anything. I'm not going to challenge myself. That is one of the biggest mistakes most people make. And the second thing that most people do, this is where the self-acceptance, the 1 foot in self-acceptance, 1 foot in growth, 1 foot in your desires, it is literally saying goodbye to your old self, abandoning that old version of you, and for choosing forgiveness and love for that old version. One thing that I found that has wildly changed the way I see this part, because sometimes when I would say, okay, you got to abandon that version of you, and Joe Dispenza says all the thought, got to abandon, Neville Goddard says you got to abandon that vision. It feels like I'm just like rejecting something. And it's not that. You are going to extract the wisdom of who you have been thus far. What are the lessons you have learned? What are the things that you are like, this is great. You're going to forgive the things that you have learned are, or you've been told are mistakes. And instead of saying no to that version, you're going to start saying yes to a new version of you. And as you're building your concept in your subconscious mind, we're talking about subconscious mind, but I want you to know your subconscious mind lives in your body way more than in your head. Yes, your head is basically the command center, but again, what did we say? What did I say when we started? Your feelings are going to let you know. Your feelings are going to let you know. You have to move the energy of your body. You have to do things that are going to surprise you. So I'll give you an example. I have been doing an alcohol fast for the last 50 days. I'm so proud. And I've been doing intermittent fasting, longer fasts. I'm challenging myself. Not because I binge eat all the time or that I'm some sort of raging alcoholic. Not judging if someone is. But because I want to place a focus. And so I noticed that even that 1, 2, 3 drinks that I would have in the week, sometimes I'd have a couple of drinks a day. I'm living in the Caribbean, guys, like a cold beer or a cocktail by the beach. It's literally like breathing air here. It's just the way things are. I don't know how else to say it. It was stopping me. So I was like, okay, I have to make a decision. I'm building a new identity, the self-concept. So I want to say yes to this new life. What is going to help me make things different? And it could be a big decision, like making a big investment in yourself, or it could be something just maybe almost unidentifiable for other people. But if I love a nice glass of red wine, like it's just, and I feel like that's my safety. What would happen if I remove that? Challenge myself. If you are used to doing something, do it just a little different. If you are, for example, very comfortable with your workout routine, do something different. Go to the gym at 5 a.m. Make your changes, your environment, like just give a little shock to your system. Incorporate things that are helping you build your self-concept that are going to be almost illogical at times, but yet somehow within you, they make perfect sense. I don't have a very logical reason for my alcohol fast. I just felt inside me. What would it feel like if I just chose to hyper focus on what I'm doing now and I removed my little safety, my little bubble of alcohol? What if I removed my midnight snacking and I learned instead to sit with my discomfort in this moment? A lot of times we are not trained how to properly process our emotions. We're not our emotions, by the way, are maximum 2 minute reactions. So you feel them on a body level. Most people aren't trained. We think it's intuitive. It is not. Have you noticed that something will happen to you and the same thing happens to another person? Like 2 people will be shocked because emotions are pretty much the same for most humans. One person kind of moves on with their day. The other one is just thinking about it and contemplating. It's because once you feel that, once you experience that emotions, the feelings that you're going to attach to what you experience and the thoughts that go with that, they're the things that are going to keep you trapped in the current self-concept that you have. So as I am, I'll tell you one of the things that I'm focusing on. It's YouTube. My goodness, this YouTube is killing me slowly, but I'm determined to make it, and I'm giving myself a lot more grace and time. Learning to sit with the discomfort of what it is. As I hired my mentor and he's looking at my videos, a part of me wants to cringe because it's the first time I'm letting someone into that, giving me his constructive feedback that sometimes is quite hard to hear. And now I've removed my little alcohol, I've removed my midnight snacking, and I'm there, and sometimes I just sit with the doubts and I let them just come in. I don't pretend they're not there. What if you never make it? What if it takes you 30 years? What if this? What if that? What if? Okay, come. Let's let them out. Shake the body, do a crazy dance. Recently, my favorite thing is to just stare at the ocean and stand in stillness. More often than not, you'll notice that moving your body. Let the doubts come. Let me put a wild song. Let me dance and move my body and then say, okay, we're feeling it. Like, get crazy, okay? The more crazy you feel like doing the thing, the better, almost. And then they're gone. They come in waves. And it's about standing in your decision, saying, okay, I've had this self-concept, and as I'm building it, remember, as you're observing, you're human, sometimes disconnecting and observing yourself from the outside, it just so helps. Because all of a sudden, there's just that grace of, okay, this woman has been going through this life this whole time for decades, and now we're changing it. It's going to feel uncomfortable, but guess what? Uncomfortable is uncomfortable. Most of us confuse our discomfort with a lack of safety. And I'm going to tell you the two things in your self-concept that are going to challenge you the most. The first one I mentioned earlier, it's your own battle with mediocrity. If you're here, just here on this live, if you are attracted to what I do, it's because you know that there's a greatness inside you. This is the only reason why you're vibrating towards me. I see you for who you are. I know you. People who come into this space, it's not because they say, okay, I just want to be in the background. Nobody bother me. No, you want to experience your life. You want to come forward. You want to experience your authenticity in the different layers. You know you are destined for greatness. What that greatness is for you is up to you to decide, for you to continuously discover. But your own battle with the mediocrity of like, what if this fails? What if I'm disappointed? So if I even take myself, like sometimes it's just easy. Like, let's use me as an example. I'm bearing my heart and soul to you here. Of course it crosses my mind. What if I invest all this time, energy, money, and nobody cares on YouTube? Nobody cares. And then I see other people, their videos, I don't even think they're half as good as mine, and they go viral, and I'm just like ripping my hair out of my head. Disappointed. I'm so disappointed. I bawl my eyes out. And then I come back to my center because I've learned to deal with disappointment. I've learned to process that emotion. I don't let it stop me because my decision is made. Nothing is going to stop that decision. So I want you to look at yourself. Where are you battling with your own mediocrity? Where are you bored? That's going to tell you. You are one of the reasons why you want to change certain things is because it's just boring to stay the same. But then there's like that fear on the other side of like, what if this doesn't work? You can put that fear, by the way, on the other side. Your mind operates on risks and rewards. So I don't want to experience my life not knowing what it would have been like to go all the way, to go all out. Like when I close my eyes and I imagine my 80-year-old self, she did everything she fucking could to make it on YouTube. And after that, it's God's plan. I'm open to God's plan because I can set all the intentions. I can do all my human actions. I can nurture myself. But then after that, it's God's plan. What am I destined to see? And that relationship with the decision, again, it's going to change you. It's going to be one of the most beautiful things. It's one of the greatest acts of self-love. So you have something that knocks you off your confidence. Let me sit with this. What happened here? I wonder what is going on. Removing the judgment and saying, I wonder what's going on. Where is my mediocrity, my mind, my battle? Where is it holding me back? And the second thing is, and I want you to drop into the chat if you're feeling me on that, because it's not something I often talk about. And I want you to know now, the second thing that is going to highly, 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 probably even more than the mediocrity, hold you back is unconscious family loyalty. What the fuck is that? When you are born into a certain family, which I believe personally that you choose the family you're born in, there are certain things that that family has known. Have you ever wondered, like, again, like, okay, well, I went into like international development because that's what my mom did. Crystal says, I went to a lawyer. Maybe that's something that was embedded in, like, that's possible for us. That's a possibility. Let's go there. Success is inevitable. We go to the predictable possible paths. I remember, like, you know, when I first like looked at actresses, because I used to really love, I mean, I still do. I still have a secret little dream about creating documentaries and movies. It's not so little. It's definitely something that I'm working towards. But I would look at Jennifer Aniston and like all the actresses that we grew up in at our times. And often people will say, well, her father was, you know, was this guy. And I'm like, oh, okay. Not saying that that's the only way, but when your family has achieved certain things, it will make it naturally easier for you. I am one of the first women in my family in multiple generations to be married for love. And when I tell you the number of times that I felt like I'm going to not make it in this relationship, not because of anything my husband did, he is the blessing from the gods that keeps on giving, but because I don't know this, on a deep, deep, deep unconscious level, you want to conform. It's your most innate survival instinct. Even if you talk shit about your parents and you say, I don't want that, it will be your instinct survival, your survival mechanism to somehow model that behavior until you are conscious and you work with someone to undo it. So I don't do that for myself. When it's unconscious family loyalties, I definitely have my hypnotherapist, coach, support to undo it. But I want you to know, and if you're conscious of this right now, where in your life would it feel very uncomfortable for you to do something completely outside of what your family has done? And maybe you think that they'll be happy for you. You may even think that, or maybe a part of you already knows, well, if I'm the first millionaire in my family, are they going to be happy for me? Maybe part of you, like, yeah, they're going to be happy. But then deep, deep, deep unconscious, you're like, I don't know. Will they? It's a little scary. I'm going out on my own. And I did a short meditation in one of the podcast episodes I did on Leadership Babes. And in that podcast episode, I compared it to being in a forest. And if you want to just quickly close your eyes, and we're gonna wrap this up really soon. If you're in the forest and you are together as a tribe, you are working with each other, building food, building networks, and suddenly there's a part of you that says, I want to experience something different than where I'm at. And you want to go, you literally want to go explore the other side of the island. And then your family, your mom says, you're going to leave? You're going to abandon us? Like, no, but I want to go. But my child, the father's like, but my child, I won't be there to protect you. There's lions, there are snakes. Your sister is going to be like, you're going to leave me all alone. I'm not going to have you. And I want you to just feel that weight in you, how heavy that feels. That is what unconscious family loyalties feel like. When you want to separate from them, that's how heavy they feel in their body. And they will keep you trapped in your self-concept way past what you want. Let me know in the chat if that makes sense. And if you have a question that comes up for you, if you're curious to know if something that you are feeling is an unconscious family loyalty. Gosh, it is hot here. Okay, so now we're going into the fourth and final phase of subconscious identity shift. So let's go over the decisions, go over the steps. 1, you make a decision, a conscious decision of where you want to go, And you also know that you're going to build a relationship with this decision. So let your doubts come in. We're going to build a relationship with them. We're going to build a negotiation process almost with them. You're not going to negotiate with your decision. You're going to listen to your doubts, take that, you're going to choose which ones to listen to, in the sense that you still want to use your discernment. You still want to use some logic, but you also want to let go, because you have something you desire to manifest in this life. The second thing is you got to write down, well, what is the identity of that person who has lived the end result of this decision? As you write that identity, and the third step is reviewing your own self-concept. And an exercise that will be really good for you is to also observe, well, when those thoughts do come out, how can you reframe them? Use your cognitive dissonance. The word's not coming to me, but like say, okay, well, this is one belief I have. What's another belief that I could choose? By the way, the definition of a belief is accepting something exists, specifically something without evidence. Yet our human mind is constantly looking for evidence that it's going to exist for us. But for you to choose to believe in yourself is to have faith, confidence, and trust. So as you are building your self-concept, you're coming into the fourth stage and the final stage, and that is to live with acceptance in the present moment. To say, okay, I am manifesting this, I am becoming this human, but today I'm here. Not but, and today I'm here. How can I be super grateful for exactly where I am? Because guess what? You live in the present moment all the time. If you're not grateful for where you're at, you will be always chasing the end result. And that end result will never be enough. So how can you, during this journey, learn to love yourself, accept yourself, have practices that bring you into the present moment with gratitude? Gratitude for what is. And if you have a hard time knowing what's gratitude, Jamie actually is Eileen's one of Eileen's friends. She mentioned something and we did a workshop. If you were to wake up tomorrow stripped of everything you have, what are 50 things you're grateful for that you have right now? This mic, the water, my husband. Like, it's just like, like things are going to keep coming. So just spend 10 minutes at least a day connecting with what you're grateful for. 10 minutes is nothing. Feel the energy of the gratitude of where you're at. And simultaneously, as you are taking the actions of building your new self-concept, to live in the delusion and the surrender of the wish fulfilled. That is where your belief and faith comes in. That's when you're operating from the end in mind and you're not chasing the end in mind. You cannot surrender, detach, if you are not accepting and loving of the present moment, because you are chasing in that sense. You are always going to be inside your mind. You're always going to be gripping onto, I'm only going to be happy once that happens. And so you are so contingent on that it's impossible for you to disconnect and allow it to come in and to actually upgrade your subconscious thoughts. Let me know if that makes sense, if that is resonating with you. The trust in the outcome, one of the biggest things I find that stops people from allowing themselves to surrender and be delusional in a positive way, is that there is absence of evidence, physical evidence. So the belief is key. Your mind is keep searching for that predictability. But the fact is that you're building something different. You're building a new self-concept. You're making a decision that is pulling you towards your desired future. And so when you have that in mind, to understand that the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. It is simply guiding you to say, we are building this as we go, and I'm not going to see it until I see it. Like, I'm not going to see 100,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel until I see it. The absence of the evidence is not evidence of absence. It doesn't mean that it isn't already there, that it isn't coming to me, that it isn't being built. Does that land? Does that make sense? Let me know. And so, in a nutshell, these are the 4 steps. And my hope is that this training allowed you to really observe yourself where you're at, understand where you're going, And to know that every step is very important, but they all supersede each other. Like, you can't live in a delusional state if you haven't made a decision. You can't rebuild a self-concept without really having an identity cleared. You can't build a new identity without having the decision. All of them are interlinked. And knowing with grace and compassion that your human was coded a certain way, I want you to not even take your own thoughts personally. Like, I can't take every thought I have personally. And maybe that sounds crazy to say, but understanding that my human, my computer, let's put it that way, my computer's been coded this way. To get upset by that coding is irrelevant. My service to myself is so much better in giving grace to the upgrade, letting the computer rest. It can't be overworking all the time. It needs rest. I may need different expertise. Giving it the time and space and love that it needs. And if all of this is if you're feeling something, and I want you to know that this training in itself right now is really scratching the surface of it all, but I wanted it to be simple. I want you to know that it's complete at this point, but if you are wanting to take it further, I'm going to invite you to something. But I want you to know that if you are done and you feel full, you feel complete, take this and run with it. Write it down, review it a couple of times. Listen to the hypnosis in this group. There's a hypnosis that I pinned that is really powerful. And if you are feeling yourself being activated and opened and being like, okay, I am feeling I want to do something different. I want to move. So I'll invite you to work together, because this is literally my expertise, building a vision of your future, knowing how to process your emotions, because your emotional blueprint, your feeling blueprint is unique to you. Like, where is it that you need inner child healing? What beliefs can I mirror back to you to support you in changing? How to plant new seeds inside the garden of your subconscious mind. So how to safely, through that net, how to safely have one seed go into that island, or are we building a whole ship and you're going to the next island? You're going somewhere else. To do it with a human that I know what's possible. I know that you can do this. And together, what I'm doing right now is I have 2 months left here in Antigua. After that, my husband and I are going to Europe for 3 months. I want to invite 3 women who are wanting to do an accelerated upgrade, an accelerated shift. So my promise to you, and this is a promise, like, I know in the coaching space, we don't do money back guarantee kind of things, but I have literally done this process now so many times that there is just no doubt in my mind, and I can promise this to you. You will experience your entire identity shifting in that accelerated process, which is going to take about 6 to 8 weeks. And in that accelerated process, we're going to together make sure that your decision is a soul-aligned decision and not a conditioned decision. So there's a nuance in that. And then I'm going to literally be there to support you. Like, this phone, this technology is wonderful. Every day, we're going to kind of be besties. I know, like, sometimes it's, you're working with someone, we're working, but we're going to be in a very accelerated chrysalis container where you are going to feel safe and motivated, and it's beyond motivation, inspired to shift. You're going to feel safer, and you're going to use my knowledge and energy and this momentum that I'm feeling right now as well to support you in that change. And if that is something that feels exciting for you, DM me. Acceleration. never used that as a word, but that's the word that's coming to me. DM me acceleration, and we'll get on a consultation conversation, and we'll get to know each other. Like, am I even the right fit for you? Are you the right fit for me? And if anything out of that conversation, I can at least guide you to where you need to go. And I have also different packages, like different ways to work with me. So if, let's say, the acceleration process, you're like, that's too much for me, there are other things that we can do. Like, I know, I don't know if Crystal is still here. Her and I met through a breakthrough session, which is a 90-minute session, and it completely changed her life. 90 minutes can change your life with the right support. So that is my invitation to you. And I hope if you feel called that you will join, because I know that it's going to be epic, it's going to be magical and powerful. And that's it. That's today's training. I hope it served you. I didn't realize it was going to go on for so long. And I want to wish you blessings, love. Know that however you go through this life, you are God's child. You are perfect exactly as you are, and you get to change. You're not perfectly imperfect. You're not perfectly imperfect. You are perfect. You are perfect exactly as you are, and you get to change. You get to grow. You get to evolve. And this truth that's in your heart, let it be your driving force, because your life is meant to be experienced with that love, with that joy. And everything that you manifest and you experience, it's supporting you in that role. So with that, beautiful soul, I'm sending you light, love, and I thank you so much for spending this time together. I do not take it lightly. And I will see you on the other side. Bye.